Hey Parker, so I have a lot of friends who are female and a lot of friends who are in relationships, and sometimes these two things overlap. I was conversing with one of my friends, and this comment came up: I want to get my nose pierced, but my boyfriend won't let me. And this really irked me, because as a pretty alternative looking person as it is, I am all for people like doing what they want with their body. I completely understand that like people do have preferences, and in a relationship you should respect your partner's preferences. But in the end, I do feel like there is the idea that it is your body. You don't need to really ask permission or worry about permission or negative feelings from someone who's supposed to be your equal. After the immediate reaction of, let me meet this person, I'm going to go knock some sense into them, and I don't see why any sort of body modification is bad as long as you get it done in a safe environment. This kind of like made me think about how lucky I am. I have, over the last like year or two, I have become pretty comfortable in my skin. And like I'm lucky enough that I have had this opportunity, and that I don't really have to worry about someone who's my equal kind of not agreeing with what I do. I also know that for me, someone who's supposed to be my equal, I want them to kind of support me in my bodily decisions. Any decision, really. You know, they don't necessarily have to love it, but, you know, you kind of expect a certain amount of support, especially in something superficial and cosmetic like a nose piercing. Like, this just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I just kept kind of coming back to it, and it's like, why? Especially with something as common as a nose piercing. Very many girls have nose piercings, Parker. I don't know if they're as prevalent where you are, but around here it seems like 1 in 4 girls maybe have nose piercings. They're just... one tiny stud is like probably the most common piercing besides, you know, your first 2 lobes. Also, if you want to get your ears pierced, you should totally do that. I'm all for breaking gender norms. I'm all for body modification if it's what you want to do. You know, make sure you go somewhere reputable and wear good quality jewelry, and hey, like, don't go to Claire's or something. Go to like a legitimate like piercing tattoo shop. They'll probably do a better job. Back to the original topic. I kind of like started thinking about what's really important to me in a relationship, and I think utmost, one of the most important things, one of the things that I value most is someone who just kind of accepts all this weirdness that's going on, you know, the septum and the medusa and that and stuff. And I wouldn't want to date someone who thinks that that's an unattractive thing to have. And that sort of goes along the same thing as everyone can have their preferences, and I am definitely allowed to have them as well. I know that pretty much all over the place on the internet there is so much hate for septum rings, or bull rings as many call them, especially on like, I was just reading a thing on Reddit, and everyone was like, it was on Ask Reddit, and it was like, what do you find unattractive in girls? And like, so many people said bull rings, and I was like, okay. But I definitely don't do all of this for other people, because it's way too time consuming to do for other people. It's a self-esteem booster for myself. Like, I love it, and I just don't see where the disconnect is. I would never want to date someone who thinks that something that superficial as a little piece of metal through my nose has any bearing on who I am as a person. Funny little anecdote. I had to take out my Medusa to visit some family. Not even an hour after I'd taken it out, just like, because I couldn't even wear a retainer because, you know, God forbid I have a little hole in my lip. Not even an hour after I had taken it out, the hole was like pretty much closed, and it was very difficult to get jewelry back in, and so it kind of led to me, the entire family gathering, kind of like covering my mouth, holding a retainer in backwards, so I could kind of like, if someone asked me, I could just kind of like pull it away and speak, and then put it back. That was an experience. So that's today's video. It didn't have much of a point. We talked more about appearances, which are very important regardless of what people say. Also, happy almost Halloween. It's almost Halloween. We are less than a week away, and I'm so dang excited. It's gonna be the best holiday of the year. I just love it all. DFTBA. Wow, I can never do it. DFTBA. Stay super. Bye.